All right, so this is just talking about the order. This is not the correct order. You want to make sure the higher powers go first. This one is the correct order. There is a standard form of writing your polynomials, and if you have the highest power first, you'll have the leading coefficient in front, which kind of comes the word leading because it's in front. Also, the highest degree will be in front, so that'll help you determine the degree of the polynomial. So we want it in a certain order. Higher power first, constant last. So we're going to write all of our expressions that way. So rewrite each of these down here. Okay. Give you a couple minutes to do that, and then we have to get to the adding and subtracting. I don't think that'll take too long, but. So yes, the first one, 2x to the squared plus 3x minus 1. That is the proper order to rewrite your expressions in. Higher power first. So you go through. This is my highest power. So negative x to the fifth plus 7x to the third plus 2x minus 5. So that just means there's a negative 1 in front. Okay, the negative 1 in front. Next, we're looking at adding. So there's two ways to do the adding, and this would be written like 3x squared plus 7x minus 5 plus 2x squared minus 4x plus 7. So that's how you would see it written on a paper, written in the book, written on a test. It would be written horizontal just like that. Okay? So one way to add two expressions would be to combine like terms. And you use your variables to determine what the like terms are. X squared is a different variable than just the x by itself. Okay, those are different kinds of terms. So if I'm looking at the x squared, I'm only going to combine other expressions with x squared. That's it, just the x squared variable. So I do have one other one. So it's 3x squared plus 2x squared. What is that? 5x squared. Now we combine our x's. So I have 7x plus negative 4x. What's that going to equal? Positive 3x. Then you have your minus 5 plus 7 plus 2. That's your final answer. Another method is using a vertical format. I don't use the vertical format personally that much. I'm usually using this one. There's another format, a vertical format, where you line up the like variables. So this one would go on top, 7x to the third plus 4x minus 3. The next one, I'm going to add underneath. So plus 3x to the third minus 6x squared plus 7. And then I can close my parentheses. Okay, is everybody okay with what I did there? And then you add. So 7 plus 3 is 10. The variable does not change. That's x to the third power. Minus 6x squared plus 4x, and then you have a negative 3 plus a positive 7 plus 4. So then that is your final answer. Next is looking at the subtracting. Now again, with the subtracting, I usually do it horizontal, but if it helps to do it vertical, you can do it vertical. The big key is to use the rules for adding integers or subtracting integers, where you add the opposite, okay? Using this rule, add the opposite. If you do that, you're less likely to miss negatives, okay? And you will review this again when we get into Algebra 2. The way I usually write a problem like this is 3x squared plus 6x plus 2 minus x squared minus 4x plus 5. That's how I usually write it. Now you can look at it and go 3x squared minus x squared, 6x minus a negative 4x, and what happens with the two minuses? It becomes a plus. So you'll be adding those together. So you can do it that way. One of the things I like to do is change everything. Make it a plus, minus, plus, minus. Okay, if I go through and change it all right at the beginning, then I'm less likely to forget to carry that minus into one of those numbers. And that's what this is talking about. So see how they changed this minus here to a plus there, and then everything inside changed. Minus, plus. So this here changed to a minus. That one changed to a plus. And this one here changed to a minus. And now it's just like the problem we just did. Okay? Where now we're just adding things. You just have to be careful with some positives and negatives. Which way do you guys like it? Vertical, like the one up here on top, or horizontal? A lot of you like vertical? Okay. So if you're going to do a vertical, make sure you keep those parentheses until you change it. Once you change it, you don't need the parentheses anymore. 3x squared minus x squared is 2x squared. 6x plus 4x is 10x. 2 minus 5 minus 3. Okay. All right, let's practice some subtracting. Okay, let's go ahead and go over this. For the top part, subtracting, make sure you carry that negative through. So, and line up all the variables when you do that. So the top would be 17x to the third plus 3x minus 4. I left a space for the x squared term, just in case we have one. Minus 8x to the third plus 3x squared minus 3x minus 6. So when you go through and change it, we're going to add the opposite. So this becomes a plus. Everything inside becomes the opposite of what you see. Okay, so add the opposite. Now we can add them together. 17 plus negative 8, 9x to the third. Minus 3x squared. There's nothing on top, and we're adding a negative 3x squared, so it's just the negative 3x squared. 3x plus 3x, and negative 4 plus 6. So that's your final solution. 9x to the third minus 3x squared plus 6x plus 2. Next, a word problem. This should not be at all scary. Just like the other two, adding and subtracting. Hold on, you just combine your like terms. They're actually already lined up nicely in the constants. You just have to determine, reading the problem, do I add them or do I subtract them? Okay? And you get to use a calculator to help you with the number parts. Okay? So it's not that bad. Don't let all the words scare you. It's just adding and subtracting numbers. Okay? And then you write your final solution. Make sure it's in the same terms. Okay, so here's some practice problems. Work out these problems on the left side of your notebook, and we will check them in class next time.